You just spent 8 hours cramming for an exam, and 3 weeks later, you remember maybe 10% of it. Am I right? You probably think you need to study harder, longer, or find some magical study technique. But here's the brutal truth. Traditional studying fights against how your brain actually works. What if I told you there's a scientifically proven method that can help you remember 80% of what you learn after 6 months, using less study time than you're already spending? By the end of this video, you'll understand spaced repetition, the memory technique that's helped millions of medical students, language learners, and professionals master complex information permanently. Here's why cramming doesn't work. In 1885, German psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus discovered the forgetting curve through rigorous self-experimentation with nonsense syllables. Studies suggest that humans forget 50% of new information within an hour of learning it. That increases to an average of 70% within 24 hours. That's why your cramming sessions feel effective in the moment, but fail you when it matters. But here's where it gets interesting. Ebbinghaus also discovered something remarkable. If you review information at specific, increasing intervals, you can dramatically slow down forgetting. Modern neuroscience shows this isn't just memorization. It's literally rewiring your brain for long-term retention. So what exactly is spaced repetition? It's reviewing information at strategically increasing intervals, first after 1 day, then 3 days, then a week, then 2 weeks, and so on. Each time you successfully recall something, you double or triple the interval before your next review. Most people study in what researchers call massed practice, cramming everything in one session. But neuroscientist Dr. Robert Bjork from UCLA found that this creates desirable difficulty. Wait, that sounds backwards, right? Here's the key. When recall feels easy, you're not building strong memory traces. Hundreds of studies in cognitive and educational psychology have demonstrated that spacing out repeated encounters with material over time produces superior long-term learning compared with massed repetitions. A 2022 meta-analysis by Kim and colleagues on second language learning found that spaced repetition had a medium to large effect, with longer spacing intervals being particularly effective for delayed retention. And this isn't just theory. Recent research published in the International Journal of STEM Education shows these principles work powerfully in real classroom settings. Think of memory like building muscle. If you lift weights every day without rest, your muscles don't grow, they break down. But if you lift, rest, then lift again when your muscles have recovered and grown stronger, that's when real strength develops. Memory works the same way. Here's exactly how to implement spaced repetition starting today. Step 1. Choose your material. Break your content into small, testable pieces. Instead of studying Chapter 5, photosynthesis, create specific questions like, what are the 3 main stages of photosynthesis? Each piece should take 30 seconds or less to review. Step 2. Set your initial intervals. Use the 1-3-7-14 30-day pattern. Review new information after 1 day, then 3 days, then 7 days, 14 days, and finally 30 days. If you get something wrong at any stage, reset it back to the 1-day interval. Step 3. Active recall, not recognition. Here's where most people mess up. They think they're doing spaced repetition by rereading notes at intervals. That's just spaced rereading. True spaced repetition requires active recall, testing yourself from memory before checking the answer. Here's how it looks in practice. For language learning, instead of reviewing vocabulary lists, use flashcards. Front, how do you say beautiful in Spanish? Back, hermoso, hermosa. Test yourself, then check. For medical students, instead of rereading anatomy chapters, create questions. What muscle is responsible for shoulder abduction? Answer from memory, then verify. For professional development, turn key concepts into questions. What are the 4 principles of effective delegation? Recall, then check your notes. And when you practice spaced repetition, watch out for these common mistakes. Mistake number 1, making intervals too short. If you're reviewing something daily for weeks, you're not letting forgetting happen enough to strengthen recall. Mistake number 2, only reviewing easy material. Focus 70% of your time on cards you get wrong. That's where the real learning happens. Mistake 3. Creating cards that are too complex. If you can't answer a card in 30 seconds, break it down into smaller pieces. You will also need optimization techniques when the time comes. Adjust intervals based on difficulty. For really challenging material, use shorter intervals, 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 days. For easier content, you can stretch to 1 to 4, 10, 25, 60 days. Track your retention rate. Aim for 80–90% accuracy during reviews. If you're getting everything right, your intervals might be too short. If you're failing more than 20%, they might be too long. Now, let's talk about taking this to the next level. The most powerful spaced repetition tool is Anki, a free app that automates interval calculations using an algorithm based on decades of memory research. Here's what makes spaced repetition incredibly powerful. It stacks with other learning techniques. Use it after the Feynman technique to reinforce what you've simplified. Combine it with active recall by creating questions from your elaborative interrogation sessions. Some well-known problems are: your reviews are taking too long. Solution: you're probably creating cards that are too complex. Each card should test one specific fact or concept. If you're getting bored, add variety. Include image-based cards, audio clips, or turn facts into stories. If you're forgetting to review, set specific times and treat reviews like appointments. Most successful users review first thing in the morning. Customize your approach based on your learning style. Visual learners can add diagrams to cards. Auditory learners can record themselves and create audio-based reviews. Kinesthetic learners can incorporate physical gestures or movements into their recall practice. Let me share some documented results from the research. In medical education, studies have consistently shown dramatic improvements when students switch from traditional cramming to spaced repetition systems. Research published in medical education journals documents cases where students improved their anatomy exam scores from failing grades to above 90% averages within a single semester using spaced repetition with tools like Anki. Research consistently shows you can expect to see improvements within 2 weeks. Studies demonstrate that spaced repetition produces superior long-term learning compared to traditional massed practice, with effects being particularly strong for retention over extended periods. Week 1, you'll notice information feels more accessible during reviews. Week 2 to 4, you'll start remembering things without effort in real-world situations. Month 2 to 3, complex information will feel permanently stored, requiring minimal maintenance reviews. Here's your challenge. Pause this video right now and download Anki or grab a stack of index cards. Take one concept you're currently studying and create 5 specific questions about it. Set a reminder to review them tomorrow. Keep track of your retention rate for the first week. Write down how many questions you got right versus wrong. This baseline will show you just how powerful this technique becomes over time. So, what's the most challenging thing you're trying to memorize right now? Let me know in the comments. If this changed how you think about memory and studying, hit the like button. For more science-backed learning techniques that actually work, subscribe and hit the notification bell. And if you want to master the broader principles of effective learning, check out my video on the Feynman technique. It's the perfect complement to spaced repetition, and together, they're unstoppable.